Hey there, this is the Orlando Squadcast. It is your one-stop shop for all the latest news, history, and updates from the City Beautiful.
Hey, checkers.
Ooh. Yeah. The city is so huge, so there's a lot going on.
So tips, secrets, happenings, anything that's new that's happening, you're going to be hearing it here first.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for joining us as we explore the vibrant culture, people, and places that make Orlando so special. Get ready to be in the know and stay in the know with the Orlando Squadcast. Today, I'm one of your hosts. My name is Rob Stack, but we are joined by the spirit of the wild Mustang, Jonathan Speagle. Jonathan, say hi.
Hello, everyone.
There he is.
I'm doing well. I just got my main cut. Thanks for asking, Rob.
Great.
And but we're not here alone. Riding us into the sunset, bareback, is our team leader, Mark.
Back. I would definitely use the saddle. That would hurt.
Yeah, that would hurt a lot.
Yeah, it would. Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
I'm doing great.
Good. We have
Doing
actually.
fantastic.
I would talk about how I'm doing, but we have a special guest today.
Very special.
Very special.
Super special. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sarah Raumaker is here.
Sarah,
Sarah,
Oh my God.
the
Yeah.
the
official.
glue that holds us all together.
official.
I'm so honored.
Thank you so much for
Be on the
being on our
Squadcast.
show. It's
we're excited.
amazing.
This
You
is
know-
a huge episode because you're here.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know how we can
It's
top
adorable.
this.
I don't
think
either.
that this might be our peak for guests
our
here
last
on,
episode, too.
on the
This
home
is the
squad.
finale.
This is the
We just
finale.
decided
Squadcast, this is it. We got Sarah. Hang it
on
up.
top.
What do you think, Ryan?
I feel like I was invited to someone else's dinner party, and my guest didn't show up with me, so I'm sitting there by myself, just like waiting to be invited. And then one guy just started making horse noises, and there's just a lot going on. So far, so good. Thanks for having
Ladies
me.
and gentlemen, Ryan Serhant.
Hey!
Ryan
Oh.
Serhant here in
Yes.
Orlando.
Welcome to Orlando. That's how we do it.
Yeah,
That's
no,
how
it's
we do it.
great.
Yeah.
Just sort of like I just got thrown right into the fire, just
Yeah.
like at Universal this morning.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were telling them that we went to Universal Studios. He went as a kid. You went as like a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
But we just went. We went to Diagon Alley. We took some pictures. I showed him New York City. He saw Jimmy Fallon, the show.
Mm-hmm.
Saw all that stuff.
The Kit Kat Club is there as well. There's lots of cool throwouts to different iconic places in New York. Yeah, for sure. Kit Kat Club's there. What else is there? There's a throwout
It's
to
super cool.
It is cool.
Ghostbusters. There's
It
a
is cool.
Ghostbusters facade there as well.
So
too.
many people.
So we usually on our podcast we talk about things happening in Orlando between theme parks, events, developments. But you're here, so we're just going to talk to you if that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the big thing we've announced about that's a really official starting today is that you brought your brokerage, your real estate brokerage, Sirant, to Orlando.
With you guys.
With us, right?
Yes. Welcome.
Yeah.
All right, Orlando.
Yeah, we're here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Time to grow and change the market and do lots of different types of deals and bring the world into a better place. You know, that's what I'm excited for.
We are too. We're very excited to start this with you, and we've already been bringing deals.
Yeah.
Right? It's already
Let's
happened.
do it.
We actually started, like, we were literally having breakfast for my birthday. And then we were talking about your content and how
Yeah.
amazing your content was and how, like, real estate is changing.
Mhm.
And then we were like, why don't we just start reaching out to them and see if they're interested in opening in Orlando?
Yeah.
It started that day in
After a
August.
podcast.
After we filmed our podcast.
Yeah.
And then Mark was like, you know what? I'm not going to email him or call him or reach him through
No.
any other means.
Through the
I'm
normal
going
means.
to DM him with everybody else and just see if he notices me for months and months.
wanted
Tenacity,
to
though,
speak your
right?
language.
Like
Yeah.
it's the determination. You're like, man, this guy is just constantly trying to get into my DMs.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
know,
it.
yeah. Yes.
Slid in, man.
I appreciate
Slid
it.
in hard.
I appreciate follow up. You know, it's the power of follow up is a big part of
Speaking
this
of follow up,
business.
Ryan.
Okay.
I wanted to show you something. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, where it all began.
Oh yes, the Sell It Like Sirhant certificate.
For the
Look at that.
Orlando.
That's
That's right.
amazing.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Do you show that when you meet with buyers and
Yeah.
sellers?
So
I slide it. He just doesn't say anything. He just slides it over.
That's all he shows up with.
It's like some people use hundreds. He just slides
It's part of my
their
value
certification of completion.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
worth way more than hundreds.
and it's cool because both of our signatures are digital.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah. Awesome.
They know
we're
it's
we're
legit.
equal.
Yeah,
Yes, we're equal and they're the same. That's the best.
All right. Well, should we dive into some
Dive
questions?
in some questions.
Sure, let's
All right,
do
let's
it.
dive into the meat of it. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about expansion. Now, most real estate brokerage expansion models sort of like army crawl outward from their flagship location.
Yeah.
What was your strategy and reasoning to making such like large strides into new markets like Florida?
You know what? I should have thought about it probably. Because when you say it like that, it sounds like maybe other people have had plans. And I was more like, yeah, that Orlando sounds cool.
That guy likes us.
Yeah, that's
He
fine.
DM'd me for a month.
That's fine. Yeah. No, I mean my initial plan was to be within strong referral markets outside of New York City because that's where we were based.
Mm-hmm.
So we initially kind of did tri-state from there. Florida was a key market for us because we were already doing so much business in Miami, Miami and Palm Beach, and I've always done business down here. And so then it was just a matter of, okay, so there's a lot more Florida than just Miami and Palm Beach.
Yeah.
So let's look at, let's go north, let's go south, let's go to the west coast of the state, and be where the rest of our clients are. And we have such a big kind of inbound lead flow now because of things like Serhant and the 30,000 agents in 128 countries now, and how that's grown over the past couple of years, which has just been crazy. That we want to provide as much kind of in-house Serhant service as we can.
Yeah.
Because for 15 years, I was just, if someone said, "Hey, I want to sell my house for $3 million in Orlando," we would say, "Okay, let's go find an agent in Orlando and see if we could refer it," but without knowing
Right.
if they're good, if they're great, if they're going to hurt me, if they're going to be ethical and honest. And so, that's what I care the most about. And so but I also like kind of our we were talking about it this morning, Universal, our outward in kind of expansion model of not necessarily going to those markets that everyone thinks I'm going to go to, but kind of circling them a bit. And we'll start doing that as we go, kind of further west. And it makes the people who are inside kind of those key areas start to wonder why we're not paying attention to them. And then they want us to come to them,
Okay.
Right.
There's the
And
strategy.
then, and then sometimes they DM you over and over and over.
For years.
And
Forever.
now my account is blocked. Now he can't send me any more messages.
So since it's been growing and now it's 8 states, correct?
Yeah.
What are some of the surprises, both good and maybe challenging, that you've come across as you're learning how the markets are? Because New York City is its own beast, right?
Yeah, New York City does. I mean, I always thought New York City did real estate the right way, and everywhere else was just weird. Now I look at it, I'm like, man, New York City is backwards. New York City, the way it is the wild, wild west, right? There's, attorneys handle all contracts. There's no MLS. There's no NAR, and those things used to be a tough thing for us. Today, they're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
But it's every market is different. The way referrals are done in every market is different. The way percentages are done in every market's a little bit different. The way fees are done, every market's a little bit different. You have certain markets that were cap models, other markets that are just kind of mom and pop models. You have some markets that are really, really, really physical office driven. You have other markets that kind of actually aren't, because you spend most of your time in cars, running around, and there is no kind of like main street where you need to have a
Interesting.
flagship,
Very interesting.
because the office ends up being in the phone,
Right.
which is really kind of a big thing for us. But it's honestly, it's just been about the people for me, like people first. And I think a lot of other companies that I watched, build brokerage models were very focused on like either the market or the product first, and then they would go and try to find the people to fit their idea of what was a great market or a great product. And that always seemed like putting the cart before the horse, because then you end up forcing your brand or your product onto a market where maybe you shouldn't be there. And so I've always wanted to, like, how do you then create organic growth? How do you put yourself in a situation where people actually want you to be there, and that creates inbound business that way, so everybody can grow. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far. And so we put people first, and then market, and product.
And then it all falls into place.
Yeah, and then help build for what people want instead of just trying to create for what we think people need. And our situation's a bit different too. Like I actually do this. I do real estate. I do less now than I used to, that's for sure. But I think we were supposed to be here earlier, but I had to take a deal call at 10:30, and I had to set my phone up to do this Zoom because I had a billionaire who was going to grill me for 14 minutes straight. Specifically, it was only 14 minutes, and I had to be prepared that way. And so I understand what real estate agents' lives are like. I understand how their lives are changing right now, given everything that's going on. I understand what it's like to have a listing that no one shows up to. I understand what it's like to be overwhelmed with too much business and you don't have admin support and you're pissed off about this and angry about this. I totally get it. And I've worked with a lot of CEOs who just don't. They're professional fundraisers or cost cutters, or they're just, in the real estate business because that's where they thought they had opportunity, and that is definitely not us.
I think that's one of the big things that attracted us to you is like real leadership is listening. I mean, I feel like that. And so to take what people are saying and then to kind of incorporate that into your systems and processes and your brand even, I think that's super important. And that's what we were attracted to.
Yeah, for sure. And I like DMing you.
Yeah, I like working with. And listen, I learn a lot from clients that I've had over the years and seeing how they lead huge companies with hundreds of thousands of employees, and like, so what do you do? And it's it's a lot of kind of the classics, like they lead through inspiration, and they try to set great examples, and great leaders lift. I think that's an important part of it, right? They don't lead by putting down. They don't lead through, that iron hammer. Like they can be tough. They can be very, very rigorous, right? More than they are ruthless. But they really do try to lift everybody, because if you lift everyone, then everyone lifts each other. And that's why I like getting us all into a room together. That's why I like doing things in New York. And while we'll do, our Sell It 2024 event this year, and we'll do it down here with you guys, and it'll be fun.
Awesome.
Which, by the way, where's our signed books? Wasn't that a part of our?
Yeah, that part of the deal.
Wasn't that a part of our initial sign-on contract? I mean, I'm not trying to
Well, you're a member. Yeah, you got
I have your digital signature, but I mean, now that we're friends, I might as well just get the John Hancock over there, and we good to go.
Let's talk about Real Estate 3.0.
Yes,
sure.
Because that was a huge thing for me personally to bring the group over.
Yep.
You talk a lot about the future of real estate and the future of the real estate agent.
Yep.
Can you dissect that a little bit more, just on what that looks like? Because I feel like there's just a lot of old models out there.
Yeah.
And even when I first started, I'm like trying to figure out what you guys were as a brokerage. I was like, I see it and I hear it and it looks super cool. But when I talked to you that day in the meeting, it made much more sense.
Yeah, I appreciate the air of mystery. It's that's funny you mention it that way, because that is definitely a conscious choice on our part, not to be as totally open and clear as we possibly could be, because you end up setting yourselves up for failure. If you really, really go out there and say, hey, here's exactly what we're doing. Right. I'd rather there be some mystery. I'd rather people sit back and say, how are they paying for all that? I'd rather people like wonder, like, why? So they went to Orlando, but they didn't go. Well, I don't understand, and have them get
fill
frustrated.
in their own blanks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
For it.
Yeah,
we're basically like the real estate ad lib.
Just
have every other firm is just going to add in like just weird words
give me a noun.
Yeah,
give me
exactly,
a city.
exactly. Listen, when I got into the business in 2008, I think we were the business was on the bridge of like 1.0 and 2.0, right? Which was 1.0, which was, a home seller would want to sell. They would go to a local agent who had an office, who had a file cabinet, and it was super simple. It wasn't that easy, right? But it was pretty simple. They would then know somebody. They put something in the newspaper. Like when I first got started, if your listings weren't in the New York Times, no one would show up on Sundays. And that's when you sold. You sold on Sundays. Mondays, you would do all of your open house follow-up. And then if brokers would go on your website, they would then reach out to you. Because remember, the market I grew up in there was no MLS. So you had to go website to website to website to website to website. And so that was very much like the 1.0 model, which was simple, but it was not easy at all. And then everything started to move digitally, right? And things, you had Zillow kind of pop up in the markets that I was in. You had a website called Street Easy, and then you had the MLSs, and everything became way easier because now it's all on your computer, right? And then it was all on your phone. Wasn't as simple because then there was so much information. And there's all this information. You don't really know who to go to. Does the agent actually have power? Do they not have power? I don't know who to go to now, because now I'm going to like this team and there's like 50 agents and then this, and I got to do this. It's way easier because now I don't have to go there. I don't have to go to the real estate agent's office, but I'm not talking to one person anymore. Now I got to do all this stuff. And that's kind of like that 2.0 model, kind of like banking. Right? You used to go to the bank teller. That was 1.0. And now the bank teller is in your phone. So that's 2.0. So then what is 3.0? And I think 3.0 for me is about the absolute greatest level of customer service, both for the agents who are in the business, who, given everything that's gone on in our industry just in the past couple of weeks, that industry is going to get smaller, but it's going to mean that the people that stay in the business are going to just be the best of the best, who have a really clear understanding of what their value proposition is. And they're going to have the absolute greatest support. So as far as brokerage is concerned, all the other models that I'm aware of anyway they hold licenses. It's really what they do. right? They hold licenses, and for a fee, they provide you minimal support
Mhm.
up until they get their fee, right? And then once they get their fee, then you are worth X to me.
Right.
You know, if you're at EXP, it's like, all right, so you guys have hit here, so you're worth $4,000 to me, or whatever the number is. You know, if you're at Keller Williams, you are worth $7,000 to me. Anything else you need, if it's over seven, you're just like that's the trade here. And so if there's no ongoing incentive, you know, it's like having a rent stabilized apartment. It's like, man, I'm only going to get X dollars out of this rent anyway.
Yeah.
Stop putting money into it.
Yeah,
stop
like
investing
fix your own microwave.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, I'm trying to go out and buy more real estate. So for us, I wanted to build some place that had the absolute greatest level of service that we'd build, and it would take time, and we'd go step by step by step, so that both the consumer, which is the buyer, the seller, the developer, and the vendor, and the great salespeople that would work with us could be of the utmost greatest quality, so that we can build a firm that's based on quality and not based on quantity.
Yep.
You know, because I think there were like 6 years ago, let's say, if I were to go start the company and I'm thinking about, all right, what is brokerage 3.0? I'm thinking, okay, who are the best in the business? Oh, they're the largest by total agent count, not by deal count or by volume, but they're the largest. So it seems like having the most people is the way to win the game.
Right.
And I just don't think that's true, you know, and I think it actually probably causes more problems than anything else, which is what we're seeing now.
Right.
And so, you know, that's why we talk about our expansion philosophy of aligning with the best people. If that brings me to Orlando, then that brings me to Orlando. You know, there's a lot of world out there, and I am in no rush to provide the best service and support to create the best environment for everybody looking to buy and sell real estate everywhere. That's where Serhant Simple comes into play, and why we're investing so heavily into that, you know, kind of platform and stuff. Is anyone in this room on it yet?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
We've been
Oh.
asking.
We've already.
Are you guys on the wait list?
Yeah, we're on the
Yeah, we're on the
We've been
wait
asking
list.
Kelsey every day.
Oh, are you? Okay.
coin.
Yeah.
Just you wait.
Coin. Yeah.
Yeah, just wait.
We're
Yeah, we're
Can't
super
wait.
pumped.
We are
That's it. Well, that's all we want to do. We want to give our customers the best service possible. And like, you're a huge part of that.
Yeah.
You give us the tools and the resources and the systems and processes to be able to do that. And we've already noticed that in our short time being here. So we're super pumped.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting plugged in was the most eye-opening experience.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
we were really antsy.
Yeah, we
really antsy to
built
get
all of our
plugged in,
systems and
but
team
man.
out and agents, and we handled everything.
Yeah.
That's what we did, right? As a team leaders, we were very self-sufficient. And now it's kind of great because they still text out me or her, and I'm like, agent at agentsupport@sirhant.com.
Yeah.
Right? There's a full team. You have a full team of
Yeah.
support and energy and Zooms and help. And I mean, even the local Florida Susie is fantastic. Like they're just all so eager to make our lives better, which makes our customers' lives better, right? So
Yeah. Hey, listen, if the sellers can sell for more and sell faster, if the buyers can get better deals, if everything can be super ethical and fun and honest and above board, and the agents can lead bigger and better lives, then, you know, I've always felt that I'd rather be at a firm where I can do, you know, 10 times the transactions, even if I'm paying more for them, than doing, you know, 10 times less the transactions, but feeling like I take every little thing, but then I got to deal with everything and all the process and all the problems. It's like, you know, I could go trade stocks on my own, pay no fees whatsoever.
Yeah.
well, it's
But I also
funny.
have a job. Like,
Yeah,
when am I
right.
gonna do that?
Yeah.
Like, when am I gonna be that educated?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that most people now they're reaching out and saying, "Well, our first question in this industry is we're taught to ask what the split is."
Yeah.
which is wild, because we get
It's
mad
true.
and frustrated at sellers when the first question they ask what their commission is.
Yeah.
Right, which is kind of backwards. And I feel like it's a race. The brokerages, it's a race who can be the cheapest.
Yeah.
Right. Who
It's a
can-
race to the bottom. That's
it's
the
a
way it's
race
been.
to the bottom.
That's
And-
the end of brokerage 2.0.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
what
It's
we-
like
that's what we call
we
it.
only charge you this, and then we'll give you this much money back, and then if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
recruit people, you get this much money.
We felt that.
Yeah, and I'm like,
felt
it
that
should
really
be
quickly.
like there's no investment. So like, what did Yasser say?
Everyone's incentivized.
Yasser said something great about ROI. You can't have
You don't get the R unless you put in the I.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't get the R
The
unless you put in
return
the I.
unless you
think
put in
he's
the
sitting over
investment.
there, yeah.
Nice.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
There he is.
he's with-
Yeah,
Nice
that's
job.
a good quote.
Yeah.
That's a good quote. But it's true for agent wise. Same with you as run the CEO. Like you don't get the R without the I, right? You have to invest in people. So
Yep.
Getting plugged in was probably the most exciting thing for our team. I think just being able to observe what was going on in all the different markets and seeing your energy and how we could maybe apply that to what we were doing as well. I mean, we did like 2 or 3 of your courses already, and then we were like, you know what? screw the hooch, we're going for it.
Yeah,
You know.
screw the hooch.
So I think I mixed two different sayings into that one.
You
Just
did, but it's
then.
okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You made a funny voice. So
It's politically correct still, right? So, anyways, but that was kind of one of the coolest things is whenever we were able to apply ourselves into this community, all of the different tools at our disposal just made it so much easier to do our job that we were already doing. So then it left more time, and this is one of your big things that you put into our hands. You put more time into your agents' hands to do the things that we need to be doing, whether it's making more business or spending time with our family, but you're freeing up that time for us of those smaller things so we don't have to worry about it. And I think that's a huge drive. It's not always about technology and, the fastest, but sometimes it's about the most convenient and the best for you at that moment. So,
should we talk about Netflix?
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh
So
my
you-
gosh.
So you just announced your new Netflix series. However, most people know you from $1 Million Listing New York.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about the new show and how it's going to differ maybe from $1 Million Listing?
Yeah, so it'll come out soon. We shot it all of last year. $1 Million Listing was a huge part of my life for a decade. Like I was barely in the real estate business when that show first was casting in 2010. Like I'd been doing it for just a little over a year and just rolled into that open casting call, which you guys all know very well. And so, I did that, and then I did all the spin-offs, and then it's a formatted show. So, you get a listing, you sell it or don't sell it. And so when I decided to start the company, and I made that, that was 3 years of my life of really trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What's the next step of my life? Do I just sell more real estate and build up the biggest team ever? Do I die at the company that I'm currently at? Where does my life go from here? And I just felt like I had a bigger calling. And so Bravo was on board with that for the last season of $1 Million Listing. And then it was time to move on from there, which is weird, but fine. And so the new show is, it's a mixture, I would say. It's a little $1 Million Listing. It's a little Selling Sunset in terms of just how it's shot. Because on Bravo, you have very strict camera setups. They shoot a lot on sticks, right? You have some minimal lighting. It looks fine, but you're not droning. There's no saturation.
Right.
With Netflix, they're like, yeah, let's drone. Let's track a motorcycle through the city. And we were like, really? We can do that on this show? They're like, yeah. It's
Cinematic.
like, can we use a helicopter? They're like, go for it. We're like, oh, this is cool. So we got to do all these fun things for the shoot, and Sirant Studios got to be involved. And so I thought was super, super cool. So it's a mixture of those two shows plus Succession. There's a very gritty, very real estate New York vibe to it.
It's specific. That type of real estate is super specific.
It is, yeah. No, it definitely is a New York show. So this one's New York. It has a New York title when they release that.
Cool.
You'll see it, and it's about us, kind of the building of the business, kind of early on, and how we kind of we're hiring and firing, and it's a very real life take. Whereas most reality TV shows these days are they're very budgeted, so they're very structured. They have to be to fit the budget. So you have a certain amount of timing that you're going to film, and you're like, all right, so we're going to film all this. We'll kind of see what happens, but we kind of know what we're going to get. This show was nuts. They were like, all right, so we've got 4 months. Whatever happens, happens. If it's good, it's good. If bad things happen, bad things are going to happen. And they were the most stressful 4 months of my life because we had no idea what we were doing. I was so used to the structure of $1 Million Listing that then to move to Netflix, and they were just there every day, and was like, do you want to talk about with what we're shooting?
A true reality show.
Yeah, it was
just
true.
there.
So
they
you'll
would just
see
be
it.
set up in your office, ready to
Yeah,
and
you'll,
be go.
you'll see. I don't think it'll feel that way because I think the episodes then have to kind of be structured.
Right.
But then everything you'll watch is super, super authentic and very, very real, and very scary. A little funny. I think there's humor in my pain. And then a handful of the agents, and not everyone makes it. Which is very, very different compared to the other shows. I think I've always liked shows where a main character gets killed off. So I wanted to make sure I was like, if anything gets structured on the show, I want some main characters to be killed off.
You're still in the show at the end of the season, though, right?
I don't know. It hasn't come out.
Gosh,
Can you imagine if I actually was Casper the ghost right now?
Yeah, oh my
Or you just weren't you got fired, but you're still doing this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Have the
We're just
remote.
running around. Yeah, it's like in The Bachelor. They're engaged, but you don't know it yet.
don't
So
know.
he's still
Sorry.
checking out other people, and he's like, maybe. But
I
you gotta
signed an
watch to see
NDA.
Exactly. Yep,
It's
yep,
gonna be
yep.
good. We can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. I think I just want I want people to watch it and see what the real life take is. I mean, it is very real, right? It's very real, and I think it's got the ups and the downs of our business. And
So it's a little bit of a left turn from maybe selling Sunset. And,
it's a
what was it?
hard turn.
Left turn. I
It's
like
a hard
that.
turn. I don't know if it's a left turn. It might be
Well, I mean, listen,
it's a turn. That's for sure.
realtor public image lately has not been very good, and I kind of honestly think maybe shows like Selling Sunset and they look a little harmful. They
Yeah.
don't put us in the best light, and they don't see exactly what we do. So that's what I like about
Yeah.
searching the more realistic side of our business.
Yeah, I mean, it's I get asked that question a lot too, and I think unfortunately, on a reality TV show, like it is just not interesting TV to see you do emails for 18 months
Right. Yeah.
and do cold calls for
Right.
18 months.
Right.
Like you can't. No one's going to watch that, so it has to be sped up. And when you speed things up, then it looks like, oh, that was too easy, that was too hard. But you don't see the years and years and years of building that have happened in that time. It's like that. What is that analogy where the guy you hire someone to it's $100 to screw in a light bulb, and you're like, that's way too much money. He's like, yeah, well, it's $99 to know where to screw it in, and it's $1 to actually do the work. Right? So you're paying for those 15, 20 years of experience. And so I think that, the people that watch the other reality TV shows just for like the fluff,
Right.
will still get what they want to see out of our show a little bit. But then the ones who want to tune in and see like a real series, and watch something fun that keeps them clicking through, I think will enjoy it.
Cool.
It's very different. I don't even know how to describe it. Like,
We can't wait.
it's going to be in hindsight when people start to call the show something and start making it analogous to different types of shows, just because it's so.
Have you seen
You'll
it? Have
see.
you seen episodes of it yet?
Yeah,
or-
we've seen the first episode. It's
What about the theme song? Have you heard the theme song?
it's very it's string heavy. It's like rap. It's very I don't know. I don't even. It's like a heightened reality. I don't really know how to describe it other than I've never seen a reality TV show like it before.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Love that.
Ah, I
Really
can't
cool.
wait.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Chilling,
Yeah.
chilling
Or it
stuff.
could be awful, and then you guys are like, so we've changed our mind.
We'll watch it
Cheap
anyway.
brokerage model we were talking about.
Like, we'll watch the dumpster fire no matter what.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys be like, guys, that was so interesting.
that was
Yeah.
good.
I saw you on
so
TV.
Much fun up
Yeah,
there.
you
I enjoyed
did.
The
your
way the
time
lights hit you.
there.
You're out. Your suit
Yeah, you
was
were
in
wearing
that
those
one
costumes.
scene
Oh
was
man,
great.
You brushed your hair.
Yeah.
Thank me for
Yeah.
watching.
We know all
Yeah,
the
see you
things.
later.
All right, let's do one more. Let's do one more question.
All right.
Cool.
I've got one.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, Rob's always prepped.
I'm
I
always
got
ready.
one.
You got one?
Yeah, I got some. I got a question. I got a question right here.
Ask away.
Yeah,
Ask
for it.
away.
Well, I don't know because this is more theme park based because we are the theme park capital of the world, #1 tourist destination on this blue planet that we live on, right?
Good job.
So we got many theme park options: Tampa, Universal. We got Disney, SeaWorld, Gatorland. I don't know if you've ever heard of Gatorland.
We're going there right now.
Yeah, we're
Apparently.
Going after the podcast.
Camera's off.
Yep, they got albino gators. So my question to you is, what's your biggest draw to the theme parks? Are you drawn to the themality of it, or are you drawn to towards the attraction side of it? Are you a roller coaster person, or are you a sit down and let me watch Beauty and the Beast kind of person? What's your vibe?
More
whenever
of
you're in?
a. I'm thinking I was more of a sit down and let me just watch all these people that come here person.
Oh, nice.
Like I can go do a ride, but then I'm like looking around. I'm like, man, welcome to the world.
Yeah.
Like the theme parks attract everybody from around the world.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Like you could stand in the middle of Times Square in New York and you could say, wow, this is the most diverse populace in on the planet.
Mhm.
But then you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is also one of the most expensive places to travel to.
Ah.
It's incredibly expensive to come to New York City. It's incredibly expensive to live there.
Mhm.
So you come to a place like Orlando, and it can be expensive, but it can also be super economical.
Yeah.
And you get to see like a totally different swath of life, right? It's very European. It's super American. It's middle of the country. It's Rust Belt. It's Northeast. It's Canadian. It's Spanish. It's
It's a melting pot here. We really do have a lot of cultures here that kind of contribute into that whole community.
far more-
you know?
yeah. I don't like, and I think unless you actually come here and spend time here, I don't think people really think about Orlando as being a a kind of a global marketplace,
Mhm.
but it really does feel global. So as I think about the similarities between, okay, why Orlando for me, compared to like a New York or a Miami, like you have a global audience that's here
Mhm.
that comes for a different type of attraction that would go to Miami for the ocean, or would go to New York City for Broadway or for the schools. Like
Yeah.
I think people want to have fun and want to detach more so now than ever before. And I think that presents a huge value play in the real estate game in this marketplace. So I
Yep.
think it's a good time for us to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. We love having you here.
Great.
Can I squeeze in one more?
Yeah,
This is
squeeze it
something
in.
I'm
Dude,
curious
I'm here
about.
all day, man.
Yeah.
I'm just following the
Yeah,
calendar.
he already
Love
did his
it.
huge call. We're good.
All right.
Call
So-
is done. This episode is sponsored by Sprite. Thank you so much, Sprite. This is a group owned by Coca-Cola. Sprite, thank you so much. Crisp, refreshing, and LeBron, we love you.
Can I tell you about that call? Just because I didn't realize how high this logo was on my shirt.
Super high.
It is super high. And so I'm doing the Zoom, and it's with a billionaire in New York. And so I've got to secure the listing for one of our agents, and he would only do it and talk to me. So the apartment's for 50 million.
Okay.
Right. And we're going on, and he has a 15-minute window. It's supposed to be at 10:30. It ended up being at 10:45, and he signed off right at 10:59. And he doesn't really, just ask some hard-hitting questions. And so I set up, because I don't carry a laptop ever, so I just have my phone. So I set up Zoom, and I'm looking at it, and the center of the screen is just Serhant Orlando as I'm about to talk to this New York billionaire about his $50 million penthouse, and he doesn't know where I am.
It's like
he said,
Universal
his
Studios.
team said Tuesday 10:30, and we were like, yep, absolutely, no problem. So then I'm trying to fumble with the phone to figure out, like, can I make it a little bit higher? And I didn't know where to put it. I didn't have anything to put it on. So then I was like holding it. I was like, oh no, my arm, that's not going to be great. And I was just like, you know what, sir, just own it. So I set it down, and it was just Serhant Orlando. I was like, maybe he won't notice. Maybe he won't notice. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna lead right for it. So he's like, so where are you today? I'm like, well, we're in here. We're opening up Orlando right now. And just like you and your business, as you grew and you expanded. And I immediately turned it around and asked him a question about his, enterprise and everything that he built. And so that way I didn't have to wait for him to say, like, are you at Universal Studios right now? Like, talking to me about this penthouse? Like,
Is that a
business call?
Is that a
On the
tiki
theme?
umbrella?
I
in your
almost for a
ice
second wanted to be like, hold on, just move the wand, move the Harry Potter wand, just like out of oh, sorry, hold on one
You're
second.
like, wait,
move
look
it.
at this filter, and it's the Mickey house, the Mickey hat.
It's
And
ears
then you
on.
just
Exactly.
have a
Like-
pineapple drink.
I'm
Guys,
working
I
hard.
am the perfect choice for this apartment. Don't even ask me any questions.
That is funny.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
yeah, just
man.
own it. Just
Own it.
Own
love
it,
that.
like your last question.
So my last question is, brand. I know brand is everything to you, but why blue? Why blue? Why Serhant blue?
Super easy, actually. When we decided to start the company, the first question was about, well, what am I going to name it? And, Serhant, period, seems like that's an obvious choice, but it definitely was not. It was like the last choice, because I was just very, very nervous about like naming something after myself. And, you look at other firms, and you're like, any new firm today, like whether it's EXP or Compass, like they have other names. And that way, maybe in 15 years, I'd want to go and paint. I don't know. Who knows what I'm going to want to do by then. But the decision was, okay, so where does the business come from? There's like 12 Serhants on the planet. So, okay, if my name was Smith or my birth name was Parker, let's not use what, you don't have to use those. So we'll call it Serhant, and then period for end stop. Like, your choice is to list with Serhant or buy with Serhant, period. That's it. You've got nowhere else to look. And sometimes it's period, it's exclamation point. Sometimes
Never a question mark.
Yeah, it's never a question mark. It's not Serhant. It's never Serhant, comma. It's always Serhant, period.
You want it to have the same feel as sliding over that like Serhant certificate.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Definitive.
It's like this. It's like Serhant.
Yeah.
Any more questions? No, don't even
Yeah,
answer.
Where do I
Exactly.
sign?
And then the color, I had different team colors for a while. Like, I was yellow for a bit because it really stood out. I was purple for a bit because no one else is purple. And but blue is the color of trust, right? When you really look at brand colors, blue is the color of trust. That's why most banks are blue. Like JP Morgan Chase, like a lot of banks have blue because people associate blue with trust. And I, in the environment that we're in, like, so much that we do and our our company and our business tends to be a little bit loud, and between the TV shows and the social and the media and all the marketing, and we are a media company that sells real estate at the end of the day. I wanted to make sure that our logo mark and our brand colors weren't also like loud in your face too, because that can be like if we were red or just like black, and so blue is warm. Blue is the color of the ocean. It's the color of the sky. It unites all of us, and it's calming, and it inspires trust. And so far so good.
Love it.
And his car was already blue.
It was already
Already
blue,
blue.
you guys.
He did it ahead of time.
It's already great for auditions. It's also really good for auditions
is good
too.
for
You know.
Ryan, thanks for joining us
Yeah.
on our
Thank you.
podcast.
And if I can just help to end it with saying, gentlemen, it was an honor to be the special guest on today's episode.
Sarah,
Aw,
Thanks for being on our finale.
by
Ah,
Such a great.
by order of the home
Prize.
squad, we thank you.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, what would we do without you?
yeah.
And Ryan, it was good to have you here too.
Yeah.
thank you for having
was
me,
Yes.
Sarah.
Awesome.
I know. Thank you, Ryan.
Like,
This was
subscribe,
amazing.
yeah.
all that stuff.
If you have any questions for Ryan, just DM him.
Just
Yeah.
DM him.